Something about Brexit, and Josh has been paying a little bit of attention to that. I haven't been, unfortunately. So what's the update? What's going on with that? You know what? Maybe we need to do a quick catch up, because there's a lot of people that don't pay attention because it doesn't have anything to do with our backyard necessarily.
Yep.
So what's going on with Brexit?
From my understanding, I can't remember her name, but she, as she was presenting in the Parliament, essentially got laughed out.
Theresa May?
Theresa May, yes, that's the one. And so it sounds like it's a real sticky situation right now. But I'd be interested on the guy from, Theresa May, from that side of the river, what his take on it is.
Which guy from what side of the river?
The undead unicorn.
Oh. Yeah, he said Brexit's going sicko mode, so that's fun.
Yeah.
Now, Brexit, from what I understand, is the United... the Parliament countries wanting to kind of dismember from each other and become independent? Is that what the gist of it is? Stands for Britain and exit. So it's the withdrawal of the United Kingdom from European Union. Mm-hmm. How many countries are actually involved in the potential Brexit separation?
Just Britain, right?
I don't know.
I think it would just be the island of Britain.
Because I heard it affects way more than just Britain.
Well, yeah, I think it's going to affect the entirety of the country because they're going to have to restructure and then talk about, like, military.
Let's see. Undead said Theresa May wanted a deal which was partly pandering to the soft Brexiters and partly to the hard Brexiters, which means literally nobody wanted it. The vote on the deal, which was yesterday, was the greatest fail in parliamentary history. She lost by over double. That sounds the whole half the people want one thing, half the people want the other thing, and nobody wants to budge and compromise. Welcome to America.
Right.
That sounds like what we're dealing with here. So there's an article, the Non-Brits Guide to Brexit, because it affects you too. So basically, the European Union is arguably the world's most powerful bloc, but it's about to lose the United Kingdom, one of its biggest members. Just how and when the UK leaves the EU will have implications that ripple around the globe. So you've heard about breakfast. I'm hungry, can you tell? You've heard about Brexit, but haven't been keeping up with every twist and turn of the developments. We get it, you're busy. No worries, here's everything you need to know to become an Insta-pundit. Now, what is Brexit? Britain plus exit equals Brexit. It's the idea, once unthinkable, that the Brits will leave the European Union, but in a stunning result, the United Kingdom voted to do just that in a bitterly fought referendum in June 2016. Since then, it's been talks, disputes, finger-pointing, and threats, just like your typical divorce, but the UK and EU finally might have reached an agreement in which they can finalize their split. How does it impact the rest of the world? If you're a European nation, you have the most to lose on so many fronts. Just under half of the UK's exports go to the EU. Just over half of its imports come from the other 27 nations in the bloc. So there's 27 nations that are all affected by this whole split.
Yeah.
All of that is now up for a painful renegotiation. Then think about diplomacy. Whenever Europe's done something useful on that front, the UK, a serious military power, has often been in the driver's seat. So the EU is losing a heavyweight. If you're in the US, the world's already dangerous and volatile enough. Some in the United States may worry about the unraveling of the Union, a vital ally, which will unleash more instability. The UK is also America's 7th biggest trading partner. Why rock the boat on such sweet status quo? If you're any other nation, the UK is the 5th biggest national economy in the world. Think of the effect Brexit will have on the world's markets. Even if they don't collapse, the uncertainty is bad enough. Markets, you see, love stability. And unstable markets equal potential bad news for your country's economy. Oh wait, before we go any further, what's the difference between England, Great Britain, and the United Kingdom? We sometimes use them interchangeably and incorrectly, so here's a quick geography lesson. The United Kingdom is not a single country, but a country of countries. It's made up of 4 nations: England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Great Britain is the island which holds England, Scotland, and Wales, and England is the big dog. It's the most populous part of the UK and holds the capital, which is London. What's the EU? The European Union is a bloc of 28 countries that decided it would be cool if its citizens could go about vacationing and trading with each other without worrying about all the red tape. It must be nice to go from country to country without having to deal with walls and border patrols.
Depends on which country, I guess.
Its roots date back to the period after World War II. After 6 years of fighting, Europe was decimated. Economies were in the toilet. Old enemies had to accept the fact that they needed to live with each other, like France and its old occupier Germany. So little by little, countries started forming partnerships. By the 1990s, we had the modern European Union. It represents 500 million people. The idea is, if you're linked economically, you're less likely to bicker and fight. Sounds like a great idea, so what's the problem with the EU? Sounds like a happy marriage, but you know how that goes. When world events walk in, these countries all react differently. They fight over how to deal with refugees coming to their shores. They can't agree on financial matters. They're mad that some of them have to pony up more than others to bail out countries that are doing terribly. And this has given rise to anti-EU parties all across Europe. Some of these, yeah, it is the song. Some of these producers are sounds like the Democrats and the Republicans to me. Undead said after Theresa May lost by double, the opposition leader, Jeremy Corbyn, has called a vote of no confidence, which, if it gets a majority for yes, Theresa May will be removed from power. So there's a big chess match going on. Hey, Rage Queen, what up? Thanks for being here. Good to see you. Then Undead said, however, despite the fact that Theresa May has basically no supporters, the Conservative Party would rather have her than Jeremy Corbyn as PM, so they would probably vote to keep Theresa May. So it sounds like it's like a 49-51 split.
Yeah.
Welcome to America.
Yeah, it really is sounding more and more like America.
Yeah.
Like, this is not almost sounding like the California situation where they wanted to
Yeah.
the U.S. and become their own sovereign country or whatever, sovereign nation.
Very much.
I'd still be interested to just approach the California situation with a potential split into 2 states, like the rural part and then like the more city-oriented part. Because that's been essentially a huge complaint out of
Talk about California?
Yeah.
Split it in Northern California and Southern California.
Yeah.
Because basically that's where the divide comes.
That's exactly where it comes in. Yeah, the city territory and then the more agriculture.
Right. I mean, you would probably have to figure out a way to draw the line over San Francisco and add them to the southern part.
Yeah.
But
the music is pretty loud.
all right. Thank you for letting me know.
Turn that one German, please.
Is that better? Hopefully that's better. In German. I am not going to translate anything to German because I would be horrible at it. Josh, go ahead.
You think they let niggas in Germany?
I'm guaranteed there's black folk in Germany.
I would like to see them. I'd like to meet just one.
You just don't believe it?
No.
Probably more likely than Jews being in Germany.
Yeah. Yeah,
Apparently, there's an article that just came out in neonnettle.com. I'm not quite sure what Neon Nettle is, so I don't know how accurate it is, but since we're on Brexit, the headlines, this is disturbing, but the headlines read, British Prime Minister Theresa May, pedophiles should be allowed to adopt children too. Claims blocking adoption for child abusers is a breach of their human rights. So with Theresa May on shaky ground as the current Conservative leader and British Prime Minister, details of an executive order she made that would give more rights to child abusers have come to light. May had ordered a review of current legislation that would prevent pedophiles from adopting children, claiming that it was a breach of their human rights. The order spurred on by the late Helen Rees, who is reader in family law at the London School of Economics, who supported the then Home Secretary's policy on relaxing the law for child rapists because they have the right to build a family unit just like everybody else.
Bro, this is somebody's trolling, right? This ain't real.
Like I said, I don't know how. Trustworthy Neon Nettle is. It says it's news and conscious media. So, Undead Unicorn, actually, he said that sounds like Theresa May. I don't think there's a single person in the country that likes her beyond the idea that she isn't Jeremy Corbyn.
I mean, I don't even know who Jeremy Corbyn is.
You know what? I think that's how we ended up with Trump.
Bro, that's exactly
nobody liked him except the fact that he's not Hillary Clinton.
Exactly. It wasn't the status quo. It wasn't another career politician. And so anybody was really ready to roll the dice. And I think a lot of people were just doing it just to kind of like fight against the mold, you know, push against the status quo, essentially.
Rage said, I don't understand everything, but I will vote for you. When you become a U.S. citizen and I run for president, we can make that happen. I might actually get involved in local office. I've been talking about it for years, but I don't know yet.
Definitely should.
Still haven't decided. I don't know if I want to take on that responsibility.
Yeah, it's a huge responsibility.
Like I know that I would put the people before my personal.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if my personal views don't necessarily coincide with what the people that I'm supposed to be representing do, I will set my personal opinion aside.
Yeah.
I have no problem doing that because I will always live as a majority rules mentality.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way I am. That's the way I was built.
Even if the majority was doing something that you found like immoral or something, like,
utterly disgusting.
Yeah,
there is a lot of that going on today.
Well, like,
and
let's say the Theresa May situation. Let's say somebody in this country does that and they try to push forward.
It's disgusting to me. But if the majority, like if I was representing the 17th district here in Washington State, if the majority of my people, granted, I would expect it to be like a 60-40 majority, not a 51-49. But if a majority felt like they're aligned with that ideal, I would support it. As hard as it would be, my job is to support the people that voted me to represent them.
Yeah. But at what point do you have like a duty to stand up for things that are immoral or things that, you know what I'm saying?
But we have to, if you're in a political office, you should set aside your own personal moral boundaries. To a certain extent.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. To a certain extent, I agree with that. But at what point is that line?
We've already crossed that so many times over the last 20 years that who are we to say?
I mean, I think I'm qualified to say diddling shit.
And absolutely, if somebody and that's another reason why I said I'm kind of hesitant. Mm-hmm. I would like to be able to think that I'd be able to have a shot at winning if I wanted to run for Congress or wanted to run for Senate or just even local, a local city council person. But what happens when I'm faced with a decision that completely goes against my personal beliefs?
Yeah.
How much turmoil is it going to put on my own soul?
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, politicians, anybody involved in politics, and it doesn't matter what level, aren't the society's most loved human beings.
Yeah.
For the most part, unless you're Beto O'Rourke or Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, but even they get hatred. People are
right.
haters. And
stuff, they've got their share. Absolutely. Jeremy Corbyn is a super radical leftist dude who's borderline communist. That's so weird to me.
Yeah.
Like, super radical leftist who's borderline communist, and he's really split the Labor Party between the radicals and the moderates.
It sounds just like America. Like, this is so insane.
It does, but at the same time, like, super radical leftist who's borderline communist, I can get that, but split the Labor Party between the radicals and the moderates? Like, our Labor Party seems to be split between the rich and the poor. It's not really between. It's not a political thing. It's.
I feel like it's very politically driven. I mean, yeah. People are literally to the point where it's only about the title. It's not even about the arguments necessarily.
Yeah, I see that. Undead, I definitely appreciate the vote of confidence behind that. Undead said I should run for president.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, Jenny.
Jenny from the block is back.
Rage Queen said I'm the next Merkel. Welcome back, Jenny. We were just talking about you yesterday, actually. You should go The mulatto returns.
Right.
Oh my God! Go watch yesterday's episode. Just you can even jump out of this one. Go watch yesterday's because there were more than just 2 people of color on the show at the same time.
Right.
So I know it would like blow your mind like that.
Well, me and that nigga was saying exactly the
2.
same thing, so you know.
Pretty close. Pretty close. So on to carry on to the article, it says speaking about the proposed change, leading legal academic Reese said that blocking sex offenders from working with children was also unfair.
Bro, come on. This is not real.
She also stated that rape victims should no longer be granted anonymity in trials against sex offenders as it gives defendants a disadvantage.
So I understand why people want to throw Theresa May through a fucking glass window.
Right, but this, I'm going to...
Yo, this is...
According to... Well, I looked at just Google search Theresa May sex offender because I wanted to see what would pop up. According to telegraph.co.uk, so it's the Telegraph, it's the big paper in the UK. It says sex offenders, including pedophiles, should be allowed to adopt, Theresa May told. Rules which bar sex offenders from working with children are unfair, and even convicted pedophiles should have the right to adopt, a leading legal academic has said. So this Helen Reese, blah, blah, blah. We heard about Helen Reese. Where does May come in? Miss May offered the review amid concerns about the vetting of ordinary volunteers such as parents who drive children to football practice and church flower arrangers. In her article, Ms. Reese suggested that the review should also introduce an assumption that sex offenders, including child abusers, posed no threat once they had served their sentence. What?
This is like the most loony shit I've ever heard.
This is actually on the Telegraph, though.
Yeah, that's
Undead?
what's blowing my mind.
All right. Back to Jenny. Jenny said it's all up. More than 2 shit. Yeah, we had 1.5 black folk on the show yesterday. Undead said, well, the Labour Party underwent reforms beginning the century under Prime Minister Tony Blair when it became more like capitalism with socialism elements than actual socialism, which is kind of what we're dealing with in America. We do have a lot of socialist programs.
Yeah.
And as a result, there are a large number of moderates within the party. Well, welcome to America. Podcast, hey, Duane's here. He's pink today on my screen. Salute. Jenny said, well, there are lots of pedos in the English government. She is trying to appease them.
Supposedly that is true.
Well, and Undead Unicorn said, very true. So I don't know much about the English government. I'm naive when it comes to anything outside of U.S. borders because I just don't pay attention because I don't ever plan on living there.
Yeah. Well, we've had sex offenders like Woody Allen go over there and end up living. And then there was another pretty popular figure, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, who essentially the English Parliament was protecting as well. And so it does seem to me that at least they have an understanding that people with large sums of money are doing things, you know, under the radar.
My mom said, I think we have our own share of pedos. That is true. That is true.
I mean, we do. We're trying to normalize it.
And Dad said, well, it's just fun to call them pedophiles, but I'm sure a decent portion of them actually are nonsense.
Good morning, YouTube, or afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Good news, we're doing a weekly giveaway on our YouTube channel for Amazon gift cards. All you got to do to enter is like the video, give us a subscribe, and comment below. The more comments you give us on the weekly videos for that week, we go Monday through Sunday, the more chances you have being entered, basically. So I'm going to go through whatever the most creative content is as far as your comments go, and I'll pick a winner, and I'll send you a gift card. It's pretty simple. Free money. Who likes free money? I know I do. Subscribe. Have a good day.